is my favorite topic right now because the United States, I'm sure these ladies and gentlemen will talk about this, is a much bigger market than Canada. So nothing wrong with Canada, but we have a new opportunity in the United States. So it's my great pleasure to bring up three of the up-and-coming leading cannabis companies in the United States. We'll start with Trulieve. Tim Rivers is the CEO. And then we have Steve White from Harvest. And then the president of Acreage Holdings, George Allen. All right, so just to get the ball rolling, and well, just by show of hands, has everybody heard of these companies before, or are they new to? If it's new, raise your hand. Nobody's All right, there's one person. Let's do this. George, just very briefly, talk about your firm's operating history and really what's your geographical focus?
So Acreage Holdings today spans across 19 states with licenses in 19 states. It was really formed back in 2011 by our founder and CEO, Kevin Murphy, who started the process of applying for medical licenses in the Northeast and expanded that footprint. Last year, Kevin Murphy took a portfolio of minority positions in what was 11 states and rolled that up into one company. We called it Acreage Holdings, and we've been on a whirlwind ride ever since then. Today, we really operate our business in three functional lines of business. We have retail dispensaries. We have 21 open now, 55 by the end of the year, and close to 80 under license. We have manufacturing of our own products, our own branded products, and then we do wholesale manufacturing of third-party products.
Steve?
Founded Harvest in 2011, started in Arizona. And through the competitive application process, grew the company quickly, and then more recently, very, very quickly. So we've got licenses for about 80 stores across the country. We've got licenses for cultivations, 12 of them, I think now. And so that, it's hard to know the number because it literally changes daily. But the really fast growth has been over the last 12 months or so.
So Arizona has been your core market, and what were some of the other?
It was the core market because we don't look at like yes state, no state. So Arizona, for us, it's important to the type of footprint that you develop in a particular state. To us really matters. So in Arizona, we have by far more licenses than everybody else. Recently, we were very fortunate to receive a number in Pennsylvania, so that's going to be another one where we're going to have a very dominant footprint. And then we've been spending a lot of time working on California, which is a state that we really like too.
Okay, and we're on Kim's home court. I'll let her tell you about it, but go ahead, Kim, same question.
No, thanks for having me, and thank you everyone for being here in the great state of Florida. So Trulieve is Florida's first and largest medical cannabis company. We're fully vertically integrated, which is a requirement of Florida. We have about 500,000 plus square feet of grow in operation. We manufacture over 123 SKUs, and we just opened dispensary number 24 in Florida on Monday, so we're very excited about that. We started the company about 3 years ago. We were one of the first fully licensed companies in the state of Florida. We did go public, as Alan mentioned, in September, and we are fast growing outside of the state of Florida. So we're our thesis is that if you can be successful in terms of penetrating the state of Florida, which has broad diversity from a cultural standpoint, from a socioeconomic standpoint, then you can be successful in other parts of the country as well. And so we're ready to take the Trulieve experience elsewhere. We made an acquisition in both Massachusetts and in California. We're rapidly bringing the cultivation part of the operation in Massachusetts to market with one of the largest grows in Massachusetts at 127,000 square feet. We plan to be operational on that by the end of the year. And then we're also looking to open dispensaries on a parallel time path.
So you kind of led right into my next question, which is there's a philosophy out there, and we have kind of like extremes here, I think. Do you have to be in all markets? That's really my question, to be a successful company. And what's your philosophy about being everywhere versus being good in some places?
Sure. So, Trulieve is think one of the most profitable cannabis companies currently in both Canada and in the US. So I think that our numbers speak for themselves with respect to high revenue and then positive EBITDA. We are maybe a bit different in that we have built our company on business fundamentals and we are very accountable to capital spent. So we believe in smart growth and strategic growth. So I certainly understand and appreciate the fact that we do need to be multi-state if we're going to have a long-term play in the cannabis industry in the US and to build a brand. However, I also think that it's possible to do that while also being profitable and good stewards of capital along the way.
And Steve, what's your approach to being everywhere versus being...
I couldn't agree with Kim more, actually. I think, and that's something that we lose in cannabis. And these are still fundamentally, these are businesses, right? And a lot of people treat these more like stamps or baseball cards than they are businesses, right? So you have to look at, in my mind, if you can't, we've always looked at a state and said, if we don't have a path to profitability in that state, we're just not interested in being there. So I don't care about being in every state. I care about being in states in the right way and doing a state in a way that you can return value to shareholders. And so we're early in trying to figure out what a good multi-state operator is. And we look at all sorts of metrics. And what we tend to forget about are the really basic ones that we need to talk about every time we talk about the value of a business, and that's earnings and profitability. Once you start to lose that, you get really confused about how to evaluate one operator versus the other. So I agree with Kim completely. It's more about quality than it is about where you are. Now, it is true that in most states, if you hand us a regulatory framework, I think we can tell you how to build a business that's profitable within that framework and within that state. But if you can't execute that way, then I'll take a pass on the state rather than lose money there.
I think we're going to get a different answer because you guys have one of the largest
shockingly,
footprints.
yes.
So, but go ahead and explain your approach, George.
So there's a lot of what you guys said that I would 100% agree with. I think, let's be very clear, cannabis has raised a huge amount of money in the last year, and I think I said this yesterday, but it bears repeating. We're going to see an intense level of competition in cannabis, and you can't create a market that has $20 billion of market cap, collectively market cap overnight, without seeing the downstream implications of competition. And I think we're preparing for what we think is competition. Good execution is actually simply not going to cut it. The notion of putting up a flag and saying that you sell cannabis, I think that might have worked for some period of time in cannabis, but the reality is you're going to have to wow consumers. You're going to have to bring consumers in with a compelling user experience. You're going to have to keep them with convenience and selection. But where I think we differ is really this view that level of competition is going to span across our country. If you think about how many geographically specific CPG businesses are there in the United States, almost none. And I think what we're trying to put together is the platform where we can take a single product and put it in front of consumers, the cannabis consumer, anywhere in the country where he's eligible to buy it or he or she is eligible to buy it. And I think in order to do that, you have to have a footprint where your marketing dollars can reach an audience that's capable of buying products. Now, it's not to say you can afford to take your eyes off the ball on execution.